Poker players from all over the world have gathered in Prague to compete in a tournament with a first place prize of over €1 million. My name is Spraggy, I'm a professional poker player, and I've been covering all of the action live from that event right here on this channel. The buy-in is €5,300, and these are all the highlights from day 3 of the EPT main event. We've got a disastrous misreading of a hand and a folding of a very large full house. We saw a huge bluff on the turn. It's a hand with a lot of outs, but is it too many? We've got some full house versus full house action, but a check on the river might be a little bit too greedy. And it's every poker player's dream getting dealt pocket aces, but sometimes you can run into some sticky situations. Going deep in an EPT main event can be a moment that doesn't come around too often. It's very important that we maximize every situation that we find ourselves in. So say, for example, you call pre-flop with a 10 in your hand, and the board comes 10, 8, 8, 10, 8, and you've got a very big full house. You should probably put some money in the middle.
As is ace queen O here, we see a 3-bet from Morera.
Yeah, second hand in a row as well that Morera has 3-bet pre-flop. There's actually been a fair amount of 3-betting at this table. I think king 10 suited in the cutoff for Ojai is playable in either option. I do think we're going to occasionally want to put in a 4-bet with a king 10 suited. That may even be at this stack depth for an all-in, but I wouldn't like to fold. And I think the hand can do this very well. It can call very well. Suited, connected. We are probably going to dominate some bluffs. So Ojai playing in position, 108k in the middle. Flops incredibly well. How do we approach small blind strategy here, Molly?
I like to probably just bet range. We do have a lot of 8x as well. It is going to interact a lot with the cutoff's range, but I would just like to go for a bet on the small side.
Yeah, I mean, even some of the peels that are going to be made here, if you're Morera with a hand like ace queen, you know, you're going to get peeled by queen jack. You're going to get peeled by king queen, maybe. Certainly with spades and hearts. So we can bet and even, you know, get some dominated hands to stay in the pot. Obviously, Ojai has flopped top pair with 135,000 in the middle. Very good hand, sure. We take the lead against other broadways and ace highs, but its vulnerability moving forward might prove testing. Let's see how the board might run out. That is the least testing of the turns. Makes the full house, which does take the sting out of a lot of the sort of equities that we're concerned about, right? We might be concerned about getting outdrawn by something like ace-5 of spades. We might be concerned about getting outdrawn by something like queen jack making a straight. Obviously, our hand is a lot more protected against those draws now. What are you thinking if you're Morera?
I'm checking. Ojai can also have aces and kings himself, flatting 40 deep. So, yeah, I like this from Morera, and I don't hate the check.
Damn, sick river. Sick river. Because now, after a check back on the turn, Morera definitely still beating the queen jacks, the king queens on the turn. I just wonder now, after a check back, a little trap from Ojai, whether there's any ideas that both players are going to be playing the board, rather whether Morera will try to leverage his opponent off what he thinks might be a chop. Of course, we can see there is no chop. Ojai holding 3 10s and 2 8s for the biggest full house you can have.
Question is, would Morera check a 10 or an overpair in the turn?
All in. Sure. He's moved all in. He's trying to leverage his opponent either off a chop or, you know, trying to represent kings and aces. I don't know what Ojai is waiting for.
Has not snapped. He's worried about quads, perhaps. I'm not sure.
I mean, it's a 3-bet pot. He's only losing to quads, right?
Yeah.
He beats aces and kings that will jam for value. I guess it can't really jam for value on a 10. But, like, I don't know what we're worried about. He had 3 10s and 2 8s.
Did he misread his hand?
Yeah, I understand.
I'm so confused. Did he misread his hand?
I mean, I don't know whether is he thinking that he loses to aces and kings somehow? Is he sort of misunderstood that, or is he really he can't be afraid of the 8 enough of the time, right?
Chat, what do you think? Did he think he had ace king jack maybe? I'm not sure.
No, I honestly think that he
10.
Let me listen.
And I have a 10 in my hand.
Okay. You have a 10? So why did you fold? 10, 10. Nuts. Mr. at the board.
Mr. at the board.
You had a 10 for the
Yeah. I had the 10.
He knows he had the 10.
Thank you, Clark.
Good luck sleeping tonight.
That's why, because we didn't sleep. What's
He
the
said he
action?
didn't sleep. I think he's realizing now that he just brain farted and didn't realize that he's beating the overpairs.
Honestly, it happens to the best of us. Sometimes
Yeah,
you just brain
it
fart.
happens. It happens. It's, you know, you do get, there's a lot of fatigue. You're on the feature table. You got the lights. You got the cameras.
Yeah.
But mamma mia, what a huge misstep. Because that pot is worth 600, 700,000 chips. I mean, mate, what a disaster. I couldn't quite work out what he was thinking. I still don't really know if he knows what he was thinking. In my mind, as I alluded to on the commentary, I think in the moment he misread or misunderstood the board and thought that he lost to aces and kings and jacks. But of course he doesn't. He's got 3 10s and the other guy would have 3 8s and 2 aces. Either way, it's a marathon tournament. You can get fatigued. When the lights are on brightest, sometimes you make a mistake. Whoops. Well, some players are willing to fold with a full house. Others are willing to put a lot of money in with just king, jack high. It's a check raise on the flop. It's an all-in on the turn. It's a huge bluff. But will it pay dividends? We don't want to get it in. Okay, so we decide to call. And we're heads up to 10-4 deuce. Very impactful community cards here. Salerno snatches the lead away from the king jack and will be very happy from the hijack with his hand. I think Shiaka will be flatting hands like queen 10, jack 10. Maybe even a smattering of the pairs in there, 6s, 7s that don't want to quite shove 32 blinds pre. So plenty for the 10 to target. We can see, of course, that Shaka has 2 overcards to the board, a flush draw. And I think he himself will be quite willing to put some money in the middle. Again, all options on the table as long as we don't fold. Shaka moves himself into the aggressive line, opting for a check raise. The benefits of this, you will fold out a hand like ace-jack. You will fold out a hand like king-queen. All very good outcomes when we've got a king and a jack in our hand. We've got good equity. Against a hand like ace-10, we've got really good equity. We can see that against a hand like king 10, even when our king is covered, we've still got 46%. So our raw equity position is very good, and we can get our opponent to fold better hands. Therefore, we like a check raise. Of course, Salerno is not going anywhere with the 10. He makes the call, turn a 9. And there's the all-in decision. Applies the pressure to a stubborn ace high, applies the pressure to a stubborn pocket 8s, pocket 7s. And of course, again, picks up equity himself. He now has the gut shot straight draw to go along with his flush draw, to go along with his 2 overs. So I think this is just good, aggressive hold'em from Shaka. I think this is exactly how we should be playing the king jack of spades. Salerno's not happy with the king 10. So he's certainly going to fold ace high. He's certainly going to fold 8s and 7s and 6s in a hand like ace 4. So we're applying all the pressure in all the right places. If he can ever get his opponent to fold a 10, it's going to be a very efficient bluff. Even if his opponent doesn't fold, he's going to make the best hand a fair chunk of the time. From Salerno's perspective, I do think we are at a point in our range where we probably have to sack it up and call. If we get shown ace 10, so be it. I think we beat enough of these flush draw bluffs. I think if we're paying attention, maybe we saw Shiaka show down that king 6 previously, and we might have some ideas about some of his bluffs being out of line. Yeah, he makes the call. His hands are tied. He's got top pair. He goes with it. His job is done. He's made the correct decision. He's now at the mercy of the deck for 642,000 chips. This is a very big pot. Shaka says good luck. Needs a spade, a jack, or a queen. He'd have preferred to see the ace 10, so the king would be working for him. It isn't. The queen, however, is. That extra little bit of equity on the turn. We said now he's got that gut shot to go along with it, and it's the gut shot that saves him. In every contest, there must be a loser, and the king 10 couldn't hold on. Good bluff from the king jack and spiked the gut shot on the river to win a huge pot. Speaking of huge pots, if you've got a full house, you're going to want to play a huge pot, but sometimes greed might get the better of you. Here's Bansal in the small blind with 8s. We are a million chips deep between them. A
I have a million,
deep
right?
each, should I say.
What? Do you have a million now? Not?
Yeah, brother.
They're both pretty happy with themselves, huh? A million
Love
each.
it.
You love to see it. Oh, hello. Big old flop. Big old flop. Bansal with the set of 8s. Fernandez catching a significant piece as well. Second pair, sure, but a gut shot alongside it. Oh boy. Oh boy, oh boy. Now that is a turn card, sports fans. A million chips each. And Fernandez catches trips. I love this check from Bansal. What's Fernandez indicating when he checks back on the flop? He's indicating showdown value. And that could well be a 10. It could be ace 10, king 10, jack 10, 10, 9. So Bansal's ideas here, in order to extract against the 10, is to start with a check. His opponent's going to bet. And I think we really want to see the check raise. This is where we do not want to lay the trap. We've spoken about it before. We've got a lot of chips to get in the middle. You need to get money in, and you will easily get money in against a 10. And we also notice that the board is double flush drawed. So your opponent is going to peel something like ace jack of spades with a load of 8s.
150?
Yeah, I love it. Again, we do not want to get trappy. You've got a full house. You might be thinking, well, my hand is a lock. Sure. But when you've got a monster like this, we want money in the middle. And the thing that is going to save Fernandez here is the stack depth. If we're 40 big blinds deep, Fernandez probably thinks the threshold for stacking off is a jack 10 is going to be strong enough, right? 100 big blinds deep. If we start piling more money in with jack 10, we're only really going to run into better hands. The saving grace for him might be, and this river certainly is going to be a savior for him as well, because the ace of hearts fills out a lot of the bluffs. King jack gets there. Ace X of spades makes a pair and probably doesn't bluff anymore. Hearts get there at the river. So Fernandez's hand certainly now is a lot less strong. I do think that Bansal just wants to go big and target a 10. Target a flush. Fernandez will make a flush occasionally as well. Fernandez will make a king jack occasionally as well. I think I'd like to see at least pot. Overbetting might be a little bit greedy, because once we start overbetting, we're isolating ourselves against full houses, and actually we have the worst full house. Your opponent will have queen 10, ace 10, pocket queens, pocket aces. So if we start trying to put in 3x pot, that's too thin, even though we have a full house. So I think we will be a little bit restricted, but I would like to see pot. And there's no reason to go for an inducing size here, like going really small, because your opponent is... Oh, wow. I'm not sure about this. I think this is too greedy. Now you're giving your opponent like a very clean option to check back. And not only that, but the other outcome is this. If your opponent now bets a 10, this is just, yeah, tragic. Tragic loss of value there at the river, unfortunately. Just a bit greedy. Oh, just a bit greedy. Exactly what happened, I'm afraid, isn't it? Going for the check raise at the river, but unfortunately allowing the jack 10 to slip out the back door. The trap was laid, but like Wile E. Coyote, the trap always fails. Pocket 8s should have won more, and a good hand to win more with. Pocket aces, hell of a segue. Thank you. Pocket aces dealt in the main event, but a bad board and big trouble. All right, welcome back, everyone. We have got a brand new feature table for you, and here we go. We rejoin Davidson in the cutoff with the aces. Bazin under the gun, raising king queen suited. This is Lima Davidson, 3-bet into 60,000. With the ones, with the 1 and the 1, we're rejoining the action in the thick of it. We're in the thick of it. Everybody knows. Davidson playing 6k, 12k. Flops the overpair on 10-9-6. Coordination on the board, certainly. No diamonds in hand with the aces. Looking to drive some value. And Bazin with the king, queen of spades will have intrigue of his own. Gut shot straight draw. Do think it's going to want to continue. Has pretty good equity against some of the pre-flop bluffs from the cutoff. Something like queen 8 we dominate. Do think that would 3-bet sometimes. Something like ace 4 and ace 5 we do quite well against. So king queen takes the card off. Headed to a turn, and there are plenty of pretty miserable turns for Davidson's hand. I'm thinking about 7s and 8s, and of course I'm thinking about a jack, because a jack fills the straight of Bazin in a 3-bet pot, 240,000 in the middle. We've got a crucial thing to think about with Davidson's aces, is that she does not cover diamonds nor clubs. She's got the reverse suits to the board, which could certainly open up her opponent to have the nut flush draw more often. You know, her opponent can have ace-x of diamonds. Her opponent can have ace-x of clubs. And I just fear here that with her suits versus this turn lead, there might be some ideas of jamming the turn to protect our equity. You know, our opponent's going to have a hand like Queen-Jack, going to have some diamonds, going to have some clubs. Our hand is still good a lot here. Maybe we want to put more money in. Davidson just calls. She'll take a river and evaluate. Perhaps some concern about being up against King Queen, but also being up against pocket nines, tens, Jack 10 suited. The 10 of spades is quite a good card for her. I don't think her opponent is going to lead a 10, a naked 10 like King 10 or Queen 10 on the turn. And it does reduce the amount of combos of pocket 10s or Jack 10 suited. Right? Bazin can only have Jack 10 suited once, only have pocket 10s once. It's a really tough spot because Bazin will not slow down with a straight. The question is, does he have anything worse for value? I think the answer is no. I don't think he can value bet Queen Jack at this river. I don't think he can value bet King Jack at this river because Davidson can still have aces, sure, but she can still have King Queen herself. She can still make trip 10s. So I think this size is claiming a straight or better. She can, of course, beat a bluff, though. But we rejoin the action here. Oh, really good fold. That's going to earn a tap of the table from me. That is a really nice fold. Sorry, Davidson just deciding that Bazin unable to be bluffing enough to warrant calling the aces.
Me too.
She'll be happy when she sees it.
You can only stand back and applaud. What an incredible laydown. So many players, I think, will talk themselves into a call, talk themselves into making the wrong move. But a great laydown from Davidson. She dodges the Broadway straight and escapes relatively unscathed. Unfortunately, getting dealt aces, getting cracked, doesn't always end so well.
Shaka picks up the 6-4 suited. That looks like the sort of hand that if we want to be up against aces, that's the sort of big blind specially. Flop some 2 pairs, make some flush draws, straight draws.
225. Thank you.
That's the sort of hand I want when I'm trying to crack an aces.
Thank you.
Shaka, of course, doesn't know that he's up against aces. Oh boy. Now he's in dreamland. The absolute dream. I would say that this is a hand that can check back sometimes. We speak all the time about these paired flops versus big blind, right? And you have to play a lot of check versus the big blind because they will make a 4 a lot. Certainly more often than you do. And the beauty of checking aces is we can invite a lot of bluffs, trying to leverage the fact that they have a 4 more often. And also we speak a lot about, you know, the security of the hand, the stability of the equity, basically. And aces, you're not going to draw out on aces on this board. So you will occasionally mix a check. Nothing wrong with going for a bet, though. Absolutely fine. Your hand should be looking to build value in general. And if Shaka wasn't in dreamland before, he is now. He boats up on the turn. And whilst Paneshka will be a little bit wary of the flush completer, he does himself hold the ace of clubs. I was going to say, I just wonder if he slows down a little bit. Still a little concern around that 4x portion of the range. Concern around the club portion of the range. And probably decides that he might not be able to get 3 streets against a jack. I think Shaka should shove. I think he should be really greedy on a king. And just try and win the max. I don't think his opponent is ever really raising the river enough. Yeah, I like the size. I think it's a very good size. I think all in is the answer here. Think about what your hand wants to do. If you have a flush, you want to put all the money in. If you have a boat, you want to put all the money in. So you should build a range that jams around full houses, around flushes. And then your bluff is going to be something like Queen 10 of diamonds that peels the flop. I will say I don't think having a club is very important when you're bluffing here. This is something that people might misunderstand maybe, where
you'd say, well, if you bluff the river, you kind of want to have a club to stop your opponent. You want to block the flush, right? But do we? Our opponent checked the turn. Are we really worried that he has a club? The way that our opponent calls the river, is it really with flushes? Probably not.
Can you counter the 25?
A human probably bets a flush on the turn a lot of the time. So when he checks back, it doesn't really matter if we block the flush or not. I think a lot of people will think that they want to block the flush here, but I don't think it's really important. But this is really tough. It's really, really tough for the aces. Calls it. Bad news, I'm afraid. Tried to get away from it by tapping one back on the turn, but this is just really sharp from Shaka saying there's no such thing as pot control and no limit. You can check back the turn to try and control the size of the pot, but we are playing a no limit game. And if I want to put all the money in, I can do it at any time. What do we think, folks? Anything you can do there? Would you be able to make the fold against a 6-4? It is a very large bet on the river, isn't it? 2 times the size of the pot, unable to make the fold. And that means that unable to return for day 4 and unable to compete for €1 million. But we've got 40-something players remain. They'll all be back for day 4 of the main event, and you can watch it all live right here on my YouTube channel. You can watch it live on YouTube. You can watch it live on Twitch. If you haven't already, make sure you subscribe so you won't miss a thing. Make sure you like all the buttons, and I'll see you next time.